We all know the SBA has been dragging its feet and slowly inviting small businesses to the Targeted EIDL program. Countless millions of small businesses have been waiting for an invite that just never comes. Now it looks like things are changing. The SBA Administrator announced in an interview that they are about to make massive changes to the EIDL grant process and open it up to all eligible small businesses. The SBA has barely touched the billions of dollars allocated to them for stimulus. Does this mean that we're about to finally see the floodgates of business stimulus funds start to flow? What exactly does the term eligible small business mean? Who is this grant for? What do you need to do to apply? All this and more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, paramedic. I know you guys are starting to get sick of hearing this, but it really is important and it truly does help. The only way that we are all going to get our $10,000 EIDL grants and the $5,000 bonus is by standing together and making our voices heard. Make sure you comment down below with the hashtag TeamEIDL. That is TeamEIDL. Share this video with everybody that you know on social media. Make sure you tag your news stations and politicians. Demand that someone in DC finally get off their ass and save all of our small businesses before we all go out of business. And before I go any further, a very quick reminder, as my regular viewers, you guys already know this. I have a team of outstanding lawyers that Clyde keeps chained up so they don't escape. The only problem with these lawyers, they get a little bit rowdy when I make a video, and the only way to calm these stinking lawyers down is to give a quick disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal or financial tax advice. You get to the point. Also, while I have you here, why don't you check out Webull, link down below. Deposit $100 and get your 2 free stocks. Okay, all that out of the way, let's get to today's video. The Cleveland Business Journal is reporting the Small Business Administration will open its $25 billion Targeted Economic Injury Disaster Loan Advance Grant Program to millions more small businesses in the next few days. In her interview with the Business Journals, the SBA Administrator, Isabel Guzman, said that a dramatic expansion to the program could come as early as this month. Until recently, the Targeted EIDL Advance and the Supplemental Advance, that's that $5,000 advance, were only by invitation only, and only open to small businesses that had previously applied for EIDL. The agency has already sent out about 500,000 emails to businesses that applied. That's only 500,000 of the total that could possibly be eligible, but anyways. They've sent out 500,000 emails. Soon, they will throw open the doors to every small business that meets the eligibility requirement. Of course, that's the stupid low-income area and have a significant drop in economic revenue. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Guzman said, quote, "We are near the position of being able to just open it up more broadly, where it's not invitation only. It's a link through the platform. We are working through the details and hopefully sometime early this month, we will be able to broaden it so it can reach all of the low-income impacted revenue for those who are eligible," end quote. She said the application platform would be based upon the same technology as the EIDL application. Basically, it's that portal that never frickin' works. But they hope that they'll be able to fix some of the problems and work through the process to make it easier for all of us. The move to open the grant program more broadly comes after the lackluster launch in February. Since then, the SBA has doled out a little over $1.2 billion to 141,840 actual businesses to receive the Targeted Advance Program grant. And they've given another $413 million over the supplemental, that's that $5,000 grant. But that's just a fraction of what's been allocated to the programs by Congress.
Breaking news, $292 billion of unspent EIDL loan and grant money is available. It is Thursday, June the 10th, 2021. Please do me a huge favor, give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL with your comments below, many of you. Isabel Guzman, you are sitting on $292 billion, her numbers, not mine. $260 billion of unspent loan money, $28 billion of unspent targeted EIDL advance funds, and over $4 billion of the $5,000 supplemental. You add all that up, it's $292 billion. And at the rate they're going of only processing $3 billion a month in loans, it's going to take between 7 and 8 years to get through the money. And with respect to the Targeted EIDL Advance, processing about 10,000 applications a week, We're looking at upwards of 3 years just to get to 1 million people that are funded. But
as I've covered in previous videos, these delays are far more than the typical government incompetence. The only answer is purposeful stonewalling by politicians on both political sides of the aisle. The core conservative side of the Republicans, they don't want to spend any more money on business stimulus, which they view as the equivalent of corporate welfare for these small businesses. They want to target the spending to businesses that are truly in need by their definition. Then on the other hand, you have the socialist Democrat side that just want to push more and more multi-trillion-dollar spending bills through Congress. The only way the Democrats can get these things passed is if the public is starving and we are desperately in need of handouts. If the economy was thriving and we didn't need this, we most likely would not support those additional stimulus programs. And they know this. So once again, we the people are stuck in the middle between two factions in our government that honestly do not give up without us. We are just pawns in their political game for their power. I have said countless times, a very simple financial fix to our entire pandemic problem could have been implemented within the first few months of our pandemic. For anyone that hasn't heard it before, just give me a couple quick minutes to go over it of how a non-corrupt, incompetent Congress could have worked this out. Then we'll get back to the EIDL update. If we look at 2019, small businesses generated approximately 43.5% of the gross domestic product of the country. That's the GDP. And that came out to a little over $9 trillion. And in the first few months of 2020, when DC proposed shutting down the country, they could have immediately offered a single program for all small businesses to reimburse these small businesses for any revenue that was lost during the shutdowns. This would have kept everyone employed because the businesses would have money to keep paying their paychecks, could pay their rent, could pay their utilities, could pay everything, and businesses would still be in business. I would have proposed this in such a way that whatever the business should have made in 2020, they would have been given in stimulus money. After the pandemic was over, my proposal would figure out whatever revenue the business did make versus what they should have made. If the business improved during the year, the stimulus money that they received would be a loan, just like the EIDL loan program, and would be paid back to the government over 30 years. Any businesses that lost revenue during the pandemic, that money is received as a free grant, like the PPP or the $10,000 grant program. The latest estimates show that small business industry nationwide took about a 30% hit. Now, this includes some businesses that did very well during the pandemic and many that were completely decimated, all averaged together. If you take the $9 trillion that I proposed and calculate that about 30% of that would have been granted to small businesses that were hit the hardest during the shutdown, we, the taxpayers, would have only been on the hook for $2.7 trillion in grants, and that would have completely kept our economy afloat. In case you were wondering, Congress actually wasted just under $6 trillion, twice what I proposed, during their stimulus programs. And many millions of small businesses were lucky to get a few $1,000s in stimulus. And many of you guys received absolutely nothing. My proposal would have taken whatever the business made in 2019 and made sure they were whole for 2020. Would have made sure that people still had their jobs and would have kept everything going. The issue is, as we all know, DC does not want to solve problems. Because if they do solve these problems, then there would be nothing that they could use to trick us into voting for them during the next election. And they always need a bad guy to blame, or a worthy cause to fight for. Okay, with all that out of the way, what about this increase to the EIDL grant eligibility? And what does it mean to be an eligible small business? Well, this is good news for some, but it's more of a carrot being dangled in front of the rest of us. The term eligible small business is the same BS requirements for low area incomes. If your business is not in one of these predetermined locations, you're still screwed. You get nothing. Why did they choose to use your neighbor's wealth to determine your financial need is just crazy. Imagine if they applied the same rules to EBT and they denied someone supplemental food benefits because their next door neighbor has a good paying job. What does the guy next door having good income have to do with you and your needs to feed your family? So what is your business situation? Did you guys get the EIDL grant or loan? What type of business legal structure do you have? Are you a sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, etc.? Do you agree that Congress is basically screwing us all over, purposefully delaying the stimulus money to make the pandemic even worse? What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate it, as do Bonnie and Clyde, and I'll see you in the next one.